Hi, I'm Mary Griffith. I'm an OSU Extension educator in Madison County, located in Ohio. And today we're talking about regulating cottage foods. So in order to start a food business in Ohio, there are certain regulatory requirements that you need to meet in order to ensure food safety. And depending on the food products, there are different requirements that you have to meet. So today we're going to talk about the requirements for selling cottage food products in Ohio. So the first question that you might have is, what is a cottage food? A cottage food is a food that is produced in a home kitchen, and it's foods that are not considered to be potentially hazardous. So according to the Ohio Revised Code, the foods that are included as cottage foods are non-potentially hazardous bakery products, such as cookies or breads or brownies, candy, including some no-bake cookies, chocolate-covered pretzels, and similar non-perishable items, jams, jellies, fruit butters, granola, including granola bars and granola bars dipped in candy, popcorn, unfilled baked donuts, waffle cones, pizzelles, dry cereal and nut mixes with seasonings, roasted coffee, dry baking mixes, dry herbs and dry herb blends, dry seasoning blends, and dry tea blends. So what foods are not considered to be cottage foods that you could produce in your home? Potentially hazardous food is something that would not fall under this category. A potentially hazardous food means something that could create a public health risk because it requires temperature control and is capable of supporting disease-causing microorganisms without that temperature control being in place. These are things where the ingredients, packaging, or storage requirements could lead to a human health risk if not done properly. So a cottage food production operation is not permitted to process acidified foods, low-acid canned foods, or potentially hazardous foods. The FDA considers low-acid food to have a pH greater than 4.6 and water activity greater than 0.85. And an acidified food means something that a low-acid food has been added to, like beans or cucumbers or cabbage. So the requirements for selling these cottage foods are pretty easy. Compared to a lot of other foods, there's not a lot of regulatory requirements. You basically just have to follow the labeling requirements for cottage foods, and that's because they're such low-risk foods as far as potential for causing a health concern. So all cottage foods being sold must have certain things on the label, and these labels are, first of all, the statement of your identity, meaning the name of the food product. So what is the food product called? The net quantity of the contents. So they're looking for the net weight of what's in the package. They want to have the ingredient list listed in descending order of predominance by weight. You also want to have a statement of responsibility, which basically is just your name and address of the business. And the cottage food production declaration also has to be on the label. The cottage food production declaration simply is the words, this product is home produced. It's pretty simple. You basically just have to have all of these pieces of information laid out on your label to sell a cottage food. They're trying to avoid any misrepresentation of the product. So any artwork that you have that's supposed to represent what's inside the package has to actually look somewhat like what's inside of the package. If a nutritional claim is made, such as low fat, salt-free, things like that, federal labeling requirements must be met. And the Ohio Department of Agriculture has the labeling requirements available for that on their website. Allergen labeling must also be followed as specified by the federal labeling requirements. If you have other questions about cottage foods, or if you're not certain whether the food that you're producing is a cottage food or considered some other type of food that might need a different regulation, you can always contact the Ohio Department of Agriculture's Division of Food Safety or your local county extension office.